Today I want to bring you a story that actually occurred August the 15th. On August the 15th, there was a small basketball game going on with the neighborhood teens on the streets of Mount Oliver, Pennsylvania. At the same time, there was other people just mingling around the neighborhood, just talking, just a regular day. At some point in time, the basketball happened to slip out of a teen's hands and hit a car. The owner of the car must have been infuriated because he jumped out of the car and became so irate with this teen. Around this time, an Iraq veteran by the name of Jamal Dixon happened to be walking out of his house. He was on his way out to clean some poop up that was in the yard, and he just wanted to make sure everything was going on and everything was copacetic at the time. He observed the argument that was going on between the teen and the gentleman in the car. Before I jump ahead, check out this clip.
An argument sparking a shooting. The gunman claims self-defense and even cites the Trayvon Martin case. That man, Matthew Henkel, is now behind bars. And tonight, only on 4, the victim is talking about this controversial attack.
Yeah, Channel 4 Action News reporter Marcy Cipriani sat down with Jamal Dixon as he recovers from his gunshot wounds.
This is where Jamal Dixon tells me he was shot, right next to his car, feet away from his home, by a man he says he didn't know, who was citing the controversial Florida case involving Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman.
And he's like, Zimmerman made this right, and F Trayvon Martin, and F you. And like, I had my hands up because like it caught me off guard, and I didn't know what else to do. Like when I seen the gun come out.
Jamal Dixon says the man on the other end of the gun, identified by police as Matthew Henkel, shot him repeatedly.
From where I had my hands up, I had a bullet come in through my arm and come out this side of my arm.
Dixon tells me the next thing he knew, he was shot here in the thigh and instantly fell.
I actually crawled back here, and he was still shooting while I was crawling because one went in the house right there and one went in the house up there. So as I'm crawling back to get cover, he still was just firing.
Dixon says he was hit 2 more times while on the ground. He spent 7 days in the hospital. The argument, he says, with Henkel started when Dixon confronted a teen after a basketball hit his car. Dixon says Henkel became confrontational. Police say Henkel claims he was defending himself and told investigators he was standing his ground. A law this state rep and longtime friend of Dixon's says should not exist.
When you allow someone to just come up and shoot somebody and say, I'm standing your ground, that's an insult. That's an insult, because how do you defend that?
Dixon says he never put Henkel in danger, that all he had was a bag of dog feces he just cleaned from his yard. Dixon says he was trying to calm the situation because his children were watching from the window. And although he says the shooting has broken his spirit, he tells me he has a degree in criminology and served in Iraq, and he refuses to let this fill him with anger.
I can't hate anyone that lives in the United States because I put my life on the line for you.
Despite those self-defense claims by Matthew Henkel, he does remain in the Allegheny County Jail, charged with aggravated assault. In Mount Oliver, Marcy Cipriani.
Can you imagine what was going on in everyone's mind to see someone take a confrontation that was just mere words and turn it into a gunfight? I'm sure after he left Iraq, he never thought that he'd ever have to dodge bullets like that again. And then think about it. He said the children watched from the window, and he was trying to remain calm, not to scare the children. Now that's the sign of a good father. But that oldest baby knew. I'm sure that oldest baby knew. She had to be so scared. This is so infuriating. This right here, this entire story in itself. This man actually ran behind Jamal screaming, fuck Trayvon, fuck you, and Zimmerman made it right. I knew they was thinking it. I knew they was thinking it, but I never knew that there was people out there bold enough to say it and act upon it. Someone left me a comment the other day, Lord Maul. He said, maybe we need to start learning to arm ourselves. And this is something the Black Panthers, the older Black Panthers, echo. I'm not talking about the new one. I'm talking about the older ones. This is the same sentiments they echo. I'm starting to wonder, are they right? I don't want to have to worry about my husband going to work. I don't want to have to worry, is my stepson out there on the streets and in danger? Is he a target when he's just walking along the sidewalk? Every time I hear the news here in Atlanta, I hear about a young black boy being killed. Those things run through my mind. Is this someone I know? How did this happen? The crime itself makes me sick, because in this crime you see that it's racist, yet and still this man actually had the nuts, the gonads to plead or cop to the stand your ground law. It's amazing how the people that claims stand your ground are never standing. That's the worst case of standing I've ever seen. In my hood, we call that moving. We call that walking. And if you're moving swiftly enough, we call it running. Stand your ground. Shouldn't you be standing? I don't know what else to say. I really don't. Tell me how you feel in the comments. And to the rest of you all, remember, I love each and every one of you. Peace and blessings.